Welcome again to another episode of the WSXN podcast, where a united Africa is an undisputed Africa. It is a fact. It's well known. So anyway, I came across this case that happened a while back, around 7 years ago in South Africa. It's one of a judge on the High Court in South Africa. She's a white South African as always, and she made some post on her Facebook Live. She had entered and it blew up, and then she ended up had to resign, and a whole shebang came of it. So anyway, let's take a look at what she said. This happened 7 years ago, mind you, but I just came across it, so that's why I'm just reporting it to show you that this is the mindset of some of these people who came from that era, the apartheid era. They have not changed their mindset; it's still in them up to this day. So anyway, let me read what she posted on Facebook in the chat, and then we're gonna chop it up. Here we go. Giuliani, which is the lady who was hosting the Facebook chat, the Facebook Live. Do you believe that I am even propositioned by my black colleagues who tell me that they will be in Hotel X and expect me to report there at a specific time? I am shell shocked. In their culture, a woman is there to pleasure them. Period. It is seen as an absolute right, and a woman's consent is not required. You may find that hard to accept and unpalatable, as did I. I still have to meet a black girl who was not raped being at about 12. I am dead serious. That was her first post. Her second post. It is only now that women realize that they have rights and have to be taken up seriously, and we are being hit by the variable, the no, the yeah, the no, the veritable tsunami of rape cases. But we often have to hear that it was only about the third time that they started to report it, that that they were taken up seriously. Mothers are so brainwashed that they'll tell their children that it is their father's birthright to be first. That's weird. I must hand you 10, 20, 30, 40 files that you will adopt a completely different attitude. The white people have a lot of accounts for, but this I feel like vomiting. So no, the black people are by far, no angels. That's interesting. Their conduct is despicable. And mind you, this is a judge. Last, her third post. Murder is also not a biggie, and gang grapes of baby, daughter, and mother a pleasurable pastime. That, in reality, it is the flip side of the coin. They are simply now in a position to branch out and include white women. No, Giuliani, the true facts are most definitely not that the, let me start over. The true facts are most definitely not that exposed by the liberals. That's that's interesting. Anyway, the lady who released this to the public at the time was Juliana. She's an activist, a feminist as well, and she fight for black people. And she's one of those whites that think that their whiteness is a crime. And anyway, you know what? Activist. Let's just call her activist. And she was doing her Facebook. Anyway, this is here. Listen to her own words before. I don't want to put words on her mouth. Why she released this, and we're gonna discuss it after. Take a listen.
She's really demonized, animalized, victimized black people. And she's in a position where she actually presides over cases of gender-based violence, violence against women. And she sees herself as somebody who speaks on behalf of women.
Scooter republished the judge's comments following the backlash against student Tukozo Kwabe, whose Facebook post about not tipping a white waitress until whites gave the land back prompted some groups to demand that Oxford University revoke his scholarship. Now, Judge Jensen is facing calls for her removal from office.
So here we see that she said the reason why she released it is because this young man who said that he's not tipping any white people until they leave give back South African land, and they attack him and want to kick him out of the University of Harvard and blah blah blah. And so she in turn released the video to show the differences. Anyway, I think regardless, she was gonna release the video. I think she just use this as a catalyst to say, okay, this is the reason why I'm doing it. But she was gonna release it one way or the other. She would find a way. So discuss it. So this is a judge who sits and hear and listen to cases of rape all the time. So I could understand her mindset, but the fact that she's saying it's inherent and black fathers are doing this to babies and the mothers are allowing it is mind-boggling to me because that's not true. And she's saying it's not a white thing, which is actually the opposite because they're the ones who introduced from since slavery time in Africa this grape situation. Don't know if it's happening because men used to have multiple wives then, so it was not an issue because again multiple wives, polygamy was a thing. So they introduced diseases and grape to society, to African society. So anyway, that's not another here and there. But the fact that she's blaming black men for basically is the cause of this and why. And she's saying out of 40 cases she have in her court, which I could understand because when you see something happen every day, you kind of get passionate about it. But her way to go about it was what I find the issue with. Yes, there are black men who does this. I'm not going to deny that fact. But white men does it as well, and they and to me, in my opinion, even at a more greater rate, which is factual. And by Europeans in general, comparing Africa to the world, it's way more prevalent in Western world, Western developed world than in Africa. But they make it seem as if Africa is in the cesspool of bigotry and not bigotry of grapes and murders and all these um everything that savages about the human race and it's all the black people's fault and is yeah that's how they paint Africa. That's my issue. But my problem is she's a judge. So if she have this inherent bias, that means every single case that comes before her that's a black man, prison. Regardless of the facts, prison. And if he's white, she's gonna do the opposite because she's saying it's not prevalent. And now she's saying it's crossing over to white women. So you can imagine if she even get a glimmer of a white woman, even say outlandish anything at all about a black man doing that, they're getting some serious time. So the judiciary had released a statement. So take a listen to the statement and hear what they say.
We are disturbed and outraged by the views of this particular judge. They are racist, they are offensive, they are sexist, and they are very hateful. Coming from a sitting judge, her conduct does not only bring into disrepute her own office ability to fairly administer justice, but also has got a potential to dent the entire judicial system. And that's why, because we believe that they are in blatant violation of the Judicial Code of Conduct, the JSC has to intervene decisively and urgently and take appropriate action.
As the Democratic Alliance, we understand the fact that our society is broken. Our society is fragmented on many levels. The comments that were made by the judge are certainly not welcome in South Africa. Therefore, even our Member of Parliament, Dennis Breitenbach, has already reported that matter to the Judicial Services Commission because we want that matter to be investigated.
Jensen has defended her post on Twitter, saying her confidential comments have been taken out of context.
So that's a statement that the parliamentarians made, and the lawyer, the justice system, I forget the name of it, but the lawyers in that video, you see both of them. Anyway, so she resigned like in a year after, but the reason why they allowed her to resign because they to me, in my opinion, they didn't want to release all those who was locked up. If she was fired, they would have grounds for appealing to get released if she was fired. Because she resigned, they can keep all those who she locked up without evidence and without proof, stays in prison. So it was a safe face thing. At the time, it was President Zuma who was president of South Africa, and he accepted the resignation, and she went on to live her happy life because she's still here around, still alive, kicking. So did she have to lose her job? Yes, because she's in a place of power and she can change someone's life dramatically. And if she thinks of black people like this in any situation, in any kind of case come to her, she's gonna sides against a black person. So people like that need to lose their job because they're in position to actually have someone get unalived and lose, spend the rest of their life in prison, basically. If it was like a regular person, I could care less about their bigotry. But when you have bigotry and you have places of power, yeah, then it's a whole different story because your whole people lives literally in your hands. So I'm so happy she resigned. This was 7 years ago. Minus it's not new, it's not recent, but this is what Julius Malema speaks about when he used to say, um, we must band together and protect and look after our own and have one Africa because the DA party support these kind of talks and they are still saying apartheid wasn't bad, it was justified. That's their thinking and they sides with Israel as well in this new Palestinian Gaza problem. They side with Israel and so it surprises me that black people in South Africa still even considering voting for the DA party in the next coming election, which is next month. It surprised the hell out of me because of what they know they say and do. So again, big ups to the justice system who take stepped up in this case and make sure justice have been done. And I hope if it's a black person, they do the same thing. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. As always, I don't know. Tell a friend, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. Boom.